Jim Shannon.
Madam Deputy Speaker, it's an absolute pleasure to come along and speak and sum up in relation to this debate. It's also a pleasure for us and for our party to bring forward a debate on the Military Covenant, because it's one that resonates with a great many people across the whole of Northern Ireland. It resonates with those who are of a Unionist disposition, but it also resonates with those who may be, at least perceived to be, of a nationalist disposition as well. I fully support the above statement. It would be difficult not to. And it saddens me that not only did it take so long for these men and women in military service to be granted certain privileges and better treatments when returning home from duty, but that still in 2014 those servicemen and women in the British mainland are protected from being disadvantaged in certain areas of life, yet these privileges are not yet fully extended to servicemen and women from Northern Ireland. Can I say what a pleasure it was as well to see the Secretary of State here and taking the time to come into the chamber? We very much appreciate that there, and the fact that he came, we must appreciate it. Also, John, yes.
I'm very grateful for the honourable gentleman for giving me. I think it's important to put that on the record. Yes. Whilst this has been a short debate, I think it's been one of very high quality contributions, and I think the fact that the Secretary of State for Defence was here, along with ministerial colleagues and the Shadow Secretary of State and Shadow Ministers for such a lengthy period of the debate, is a strong indication of how seriously these matters are taken by the House of Commons and both the main parties, and I think it's deeply appreciated by everyone in Northern Ireland.
And I think the right honourable member for North Belfast was saying that. He sort of took my next couple of lines off, but nonetheless, we are greatly indebted to the contributions from the front bench and the shadow bench in relation to it. The fact that the Military Covenant and the recommendations that came from the Northern Ireland Affairs Committee, what bothers me deeply, as Lord Ashcroft himself noted, how can we ask and expect our brave men and women to go off to wars, to prepare to give the ultimate sacrifice and not extend them any care of duty upon returning home? The inquiry that was carried out in 2012 and published in 2013 found that due to devolution, variations exist across the regions of the United Kingdom as to how health and housing and education services are provided. And members who have spoken today have indicated exactly what those shortcomings are.
Would the member give way?
But we also welcome the fact that the Military Covenant and the Minister of State herself said 93% of those recommendations from the Northern Ireland Affairs have been delivered.
I thank the member for giving way. I think one of the key points that we noticed in the Northern Ireland Affairs Select Committee investigation into this is that there are regional variations due to devolution, and we need to look at those separately to those which are as a result of implementation or otherwise of the Covenant, because in some cases military personnel in Northern Ireland are better off because of the devolution settlement than is the case for people in other regions of the UK.
I thank the honourable lady for her contribution and for her intervention. Very clearly she's outlined the issues that are pertinent to this, and I thank her for that. There are some variations, as the honourable lady for East Belfast referred to, which need to be implemented in Northern Ireland, and we'll try to do that at this moment in time as well. I'm quite happy to give way.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Does he also think, though, one of the things which is incredibly important, we do need to make sure our GPs are better trained on mental health issues, especially in garrison cities like mine is?
Yeah, I do absolutely agree with that. And the fact is, every person who has spoken today, every person has mentioned the effects of mental issues and the problems that they have. And I think that explains clearly to us all the magnitude of those issues. If we're not already aware of it, we should be. And those outside this chamber will be aware of that now as well. There are some specific benefits for the Armed Forces community that exist in Great Britain but are not available in Northern Ireland, such as improved access to IVF treatment. That's one of the things that they have in the mainland but we don't have yet in Northern Ireland. I'd like to see that happening. Priority in accessing NHS healthcare, and I do acknowledge a very commendable and hard work and commitment that the former Health Minister Edmund Putz and the Minister for Social Development Nelson McCausland gave as well. Additional priority in accessing social housing, certain educational entitlements. These variations are unsurprising, but these devolution differences should not mean that Northern Ireland servicemen and women are treated any differently from their British counterparts. Of course, Northern Ireland is different, and we recognise that, as did those in the Northern Ireland Affairs Committee, and so did Lord Ashcroft as well. However, as paragraph 12 stated in the inquiry looking into this, we accept that the different political and legal situation in Northern Ireland compared to Great Britain makes issues relating to the armed forces delicate and potentially contentious. I would like to think that perhaps maybe over the last period of time, since the peace process has moved forward, that there's been a greater acceptance among some of the community. And I sometimes wonder if you went into West Belfast and you were to ask some of the people there in relation to their history, they might be surprised that those people in West Belfast who are committed and interested in. I went to a thing this morning in the First World War. So I know my colleague, honourable member for Lagan Valley, refers to it as the 6th Connaught Rangers, Belfast nationalists in the Great War. You know, they might have had a different political aspiration at that time, but they served in the British Army as a.
Would my honourable friend agree with me that when the soldiers walked the streets of Belfast, they walked the streets in West Belfast as well as they did in East Belfast, and they protected the community of West Belfast the same as they did in every other part of the province.
Thank you very much for that. I thank the honourable gentleman from Southampton for that as well. And that's exactly the facts of the case in Northern Ireland. They protected everyone, as we all know. Of course, in paragraph 12 it referred in the inquiry about we accepted Northern Ireland different political, different legal, making issues to armed forces but contentious. Again, the armed forces community in Northern Ireland should not be disadvantaged when it comes to the rest of the United Kingdom or when compared to that community elsewhere in the UK, beyond the variation which would be expected under normal devolution. It's also important, as I said earlier on, that through the Northern Ireland Affairs Committee and through the recommendations that are made, that we're 93% to almost there. But my honourable friend for Southampton and his contribution made a very pertinent comment. We want to see the 100% implementation of the Northern Ireland Affairs recommendations in Northern Ireland. So we have a 7% figure to try and achieve. Lord Ashcroft also recently considered alternative options as part of his review into how former military personnel assimilate back into civilian life. He recommended that part of the Northern Ireland Act, which was introduced after the Good Friday Agreement, should be changed at Westminster in order to allow the Covenant to operate in Northern Ireland. Section 75, the one that a number of honourable members have spoken to about today, currently makes an offence to discriminate against anyone based on factors like religion, race, age or disability. Ironically, the clause that has been used to discriminate against some former servicemen who cannot apply for social housing when they are in the military because of security reasons. And what doesn't happen, and I was going to mention it earlier on, perhaps maybe later on I should say, and I've a number of constituents who have come to me, and because of their security service and where they want to be allocated for housing, they find a difficulty letting the housing people know exactly all their circumstances. Thereby they could gain some of the advantage that would come from serving in the services, but can't do that because of the security implications. So again, there are things that need to be addressed when they leave the armed forces. Lord Ashcroft suggested this clause should be altered to allow ex-servicemen to receive the recognition and provision they deserve. It's not as if we're asking for mountains to be moved, because we're not. We're giving veterans priority access to NHS treatments if they've been injured in the line of duty. Seems just and fair, and it also seems just and fair that these men and women, along with all of their families, should be given all the help possible in order to secure a house and a base to continue their quality of life. These people who are willing to lay down their lives so that we could have our todays. We say that every Remembrance Sunday, and every one of us attends Remembrance Sunday services, and the words are very pertinent, but they mean so much, and they have done that. So we can have our todays, and our children can have our todays as well. Should not be punished or made to feel as though they have done something wrong in their duties. Quite the opposite, in fact. Our communities should do everything they can to show these men and women how grateful we are, and our executive should do all it can to ensure that the veterans and their families receive the best possible care when they do return home. Whenever Corporal Channing Day, one of my constituents from Cumber, died, she was shot in Afghanistan. As a result of that, we asked for the meeting with the Prime Minister and the Right Honourable Member for North Belfast, the Honourable Members for Southampton, and the Right Honourable Member for Lagan Valley and myself. Brenda Hale, as a member of the Assembly, attended. We had a very good meeting with the Prime Minister, and we initiated that need for that military covenant that day. So we moved for that within, as a result of tragedy, but also to ensure that all service personnel would have an opportunity to participate and to have the advantages that they quite clearly should have for the military covenant. if I could summarise, Madam Deputy Speaker, if it's possible, some of the contributions. My right honourable friend and colleague for Lagan Valley in his contribution, we acknowledge his deep interest in defence matters and his knowledge as well, because we recognise that he's much respected in this House and further afield, not only when it comes to defence matters, but also for when it comes to perhaps telling other parts of the world how our peace process has progressed. And that contribution is also we can't be the panacea to change everything in the world, far from it, but we can perhaps maybe give a help, and very clearly he does that. He referred to the sacrifice of service personnel in Northern Ireland. It's up to the rest so we can enjoy life. He referred to almost 1,000 people who had given their lives in service between 1969 and 2002, and those who died afterwards as a result of that as well. He referred to the covenant designed to ensure that veterans are not disadvantaged, which we've all adhered to and all said. He also referred to a very important thing, and he started a theme where the rest of us all said the same thing perhaps as well in relation to post-traumatic stress disorder. We have the highest rate of it anywhere in the whole of the United Kingdom, and indeed in the whole of the world. So it gives an idea of the magnitude of the issues for us in Northern Ireland. He also referred to the Royal Irish Aftercare Service. I'm aware of that there. We're all aware of that. And if you're not aware of it in this House, you are now. It's second to none. And we thank the Royal Irish for all that they do. When it comes to health and housing, specified as a distinct group under Section 75, we referred to the issues that Lord Ashcroft referred to as well. The armed forces have a champion for Northern Ireland. That's needed now, is what he said as well. And I think the Minister of State in her response and her comments also referred to that. In a couple of interventions from the member for Harrow West, and he referred to the credit unions and the importance of that, and the member for North Down referred to the contributions of those who police the province. And again, the right honourable member for Lagan Valley and his response referred to that as well. He also referred to community covenants and the need for armed forces to be directly involved and with local community groups and where those are garrisoned as an example, and members have those within their own areas. I was particularly impressed, if I could say so, by the Minister of State and our very, very clear commitment in this House today, on record, in answer to the armed forces, to the mental health issues as well, and to the fact that communities should be involved, and that no soldiers or service personnel should ever face any disadvantage. The government are committed to helping the armed forces, and very clearly the debate as it went forward said that as well. And I hope that what the Minister of State referred to as, the 11 councillors. 11 councils are together. They will nominate one representative who will go to the reserve forces. I, in my past life in the council, and Ardsborough Council, was a representative from my council, but not every council sent somebody. So this time we hope that the 11 councils will send someone, and that they can then become what the Minister has said, a champion for the veterans. And if we have that, I think we'll have achieved a marvellous lot of movement for the future as well. 93% of the recommendations will be implemented in Northern Ireland. Again, that's a commitment. That shows that the initiation that has started this House from many members has made some impact upon it, and an indication of its acceptance across Northern Ireland as well. The Minister also referred to the Royal Irish Aftercare Service, referred to the cadets, which I'm very pleased about, and the cadets are something that I have a particular interest in, and we need to show what they've done across Northern Ireland and bringing the communities together. The Shadow Minister of State, again, it's always a pleasure when we're all in agreement and we're all saying the same thing, and it was good to have the commitment from the Shadow Minister as well in relation to the high level of reserves and the TA. In Northern Ireland, we have a higher level of service per head of population than any other part of the United Kingdom. I'm not sure if that's of our warring attitude or what it is, but we do like to serve in the uniform of the British Army, the Royal Air Force and the Navy personnel, and it's something that runs deep in all our blood in relation to us in Northern Ireland. The Armed Forces want a level playing field, as what you stated, and that's exactly what we're trying to achieve. At its heart, the Armed Forces Covenant is about people as well, and we want the Armed Forces, the treatment for them to be the same as it is in other parts of the United Kingdom. The Honourable Member for Plymouth and Sutton and Devonport, as always, the Royal Navy rides high in your contribution, as we know, and we appreciate that very, very much. You spoke of Plymouth. I think actually the Royal Navy must be just, there's no place in the world like Plymouth when it comes to the Royal Navy. I always listen to your contributions with some joy. You referred to the work that's done in Plymouth, and you referred in particular to the work that's done with the children, and I thought that was quite interesting because while other members may not have mentioned it, I'm aware of the work that the Armed Forces personnel and charities do with children right across all of the communities, and that's good news. Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed for his very generous comments, but does he not also think that universities have got a significant part to play in the same way as Plymouth University, which is developing at the moment a tri-service veterans accommodation as well, and that's something which the medical school can most certainly participate in by buddying up with some of those veterans too to help them through their mental health issues or whatever they need to actually have help on.
Well, whenever the Right Honourable Member for Lagan Valley attends your constituency, which you throw an invitation to him and he's going to take advantage of it, he no doubt come back and tell us all about it, and we'll be able to use your what you're doing in Plymouth as an example for us in other parts of the United Kingdom as well. You also mentioned about the mental health issues. You referred to the mobile phones for veterans as well. That's something that this government has done and has been supported by the shadow government as well. They can also thank the Honourable Member for Upper Bann. He started off his comments by referring to duty of care. And if you wanted 3 words that summed up this whole debate, that's probably the 3 words: duty of care to our service personnel. For those who live with us in this, he referred to the scars and the pain of conflict. They referred to the fact that Sinn Féin are opposing the Covenant. They oppose it, but they don't sit in this house on the green benches. They don't make a contribution. He spoke of the voice of those who need their MPs to fight them. He spoke of the voice for the families as well. And he also spoke about mental health issues, recognition of those who have given so much. As always, my honourable friend and colleague for South Antrim speaks with a passion and with a contribution that we all love to hear when he speaks. And he referred to first of all, he referred to the fact that the Minister was here and thanked them for that. But he also mentioned the families and those who have paid a great sacrifice. Proud of our armed forces and the tradition of service that we have in Northern Ireland and the good stuff that we do. The Armed Forces Charity as well, and he referred to the Royal Irish Aftercare and the £50,000 contribution that's being to help the Royal Irish Aftercare do even more for the service personnel and their families. He also referred to the need for a respite centre for Northern Ireland. I would make a plug for that as well. If I could do that from a very personal point of view, I would like to see it happen in Strangford, but nonetheless, it's something. It doesn't matter where it goes in Northern Ireland, as long as we get it. I'd be more than happy if my colleague for South Antrim gets it, his constituency, or my colleague for Right Honourable Member for Lagan Valley gets it. As long as we get it, that'll be what we're after. He wants to see professional treatment for all those who are involved, and he also made a comment: equal citizenship, equal gratitude. And that's the way we should have it. Equal citizenship for everyone in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and equal gratitude for everyone as well, for all those who served in the forces. He also mentioned, and sometimes it's forgotten, and I was glad in the intervention that it was brought up, and that's about those who from the Republic of Ireland who served in the British forces, and there's been a great many of those as well over the time. So those are some of the comments, and I'd like to conclude, if I could, by just saying this. There are various charitable organisations that exist in Northern Ireland which specifically deal with the need for veterans. For example, one has been set up in Newton Ards just last year, Beyond the Battlefield, which specifically deals with the needs of veterans and their families and aims to help those in financial, mental, physical and other difficulties. This is a fantastic organisation who very much have my support, but many of the services that it offers should already be available to military personnel, yet they find that because they have a Northern Ireland postcode, they are not, despite being UK taxpayers and laying down the same sacrifices as their English, Scots and Welsh counterparts. It's all about getting fair treatment. Not necessarily a special treatment, but it is fair treatment for special people. For those who have served, the ordinary citizens are not entitled to, unless of course they sustain an injury while serving. However, at this moment, the clause that I mentioned above is preventing veterans from getting fair treatment in Northern Ireland. We must ensure that we speak up for our armed forces and be the party and be the organisation and the government here that is not afraid to represent them and stand up for their rights. Minister, you mentioned about the Armed Forces Day in Northern Ireland and the some 10,000 people that lined the streets to cheer that on. That happened in my constituency, and I would look forward to inviting you and the Shadow and indeed everyone else who can come along and enjoy a super day where we can recognise the good work that the Armed Forces do. An example of that there is every year I'm privileged to hold a coffee morning for the staff of the Soldiers, Sailors and Airmen's Family Association. We all know them, those of us of a certain vintage. What was a fantastic success. Some £4,200 was raised in Newton Ards for them. We're privileged to have a local piper, and I want to finish with this: a local piper and an ex-military man there to supply the coffee. He served in the military for over 20 years, and it was all he knew. He came back home again, newly married, struggling to find a job, and the support he needs to help him with this. He's one of those examples of those who tried hard to get a job, and it's important that we, as a community, wherever we can, to ensure that people like that who have given their 20 years of service, who have given 25 years of service, that we can put all pressure, whatever it may be, upon government and the executive to ensure that the 7% of the recommendations of the Northern Ireland Affairs Committee are delivered to make us an integral part of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Thank you.
The debate, I told the Minister.